Well, this is Rokani David with his Premier League predictions of 2026-2027. I'm going to be talking about the top six, which teams I'm expecting to be in the top six. Then from there, we'll obviously head to what we call the top scorers, midfielders, defenders, and goalkeepers. We'll obviously be trying to break it down in a little bit. So smash the like button, comment, and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having pure fun wherever you're watching us. And this is the channel that brings you your latest news and information as far as everything is really concerned. And we are here to see to it that we really bring you this video. And continue to subscribe because we are not far away from hitting 30,800 subscribers, meaning that we are left with just 57 subscribers to clinch that spot. And I know by the end of today, would have gone ahead, obviously, clinch that spot. So the 57 subscribers just joined the party. And after joining the party, the rest will be history. Now, let's get into this. Now, my top six. My top six. And I'm obviously going to be counting from 6 to 1. Right? Now, in the top six, you do have Chelsea. I'm going to be talking Chelsea, Spurs, Man United, Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool. There is also a team known as Aston Villa. You expect it to obviously come and really put out a very, very huge case when it comes to this moment. Now, let's obviously go eyes. But I want to let you know that I do have an artist known as Uncle Ronnie. He has a new song out with John Black. It's called Tezinuma. The link is in the description box below. Go ahead and obviously enjoy that video. You know, football and music move hand in hand. Now, the team I think will finish 6th onto the Premier League table this season. Liverpool fans, you're obviously gonna forgive me. Liverpool fans, you're obviously gonna forgive me. I'm putting you in the 6th position. That is it. Why? When I look at Liverpool, they are not yet where they're supposed to be. The problems that affected their performance last season have not obviously gone ahead to be solved. That is it. How? That central defense is really very key. Now, amidst them bringing in a player known as Araujo, who is going to be starting alongside Virgil van Dijk in that central defense, I think they'll be having Jacquet, Leone, Ben, something of the sort, Yao Gomez. I don't think that they are really thick enough to see the manager making rotations. And I tell you, every time they'll be having a game that they will be needing to win, and you know in the Premier League, every game is like a final, they'll obviously have to field Araujo and Virgil van Dijk. That centre back is looking fine. But we know that one central defender, if at all he really gets injured, can affect every situation in that team. So I'm like, Liverpool are finishing 6th. When you look at the midfield, it's really thin. They're having Gravenberch, McAllister, and Wataru Endo. Those three are the ones responsible for playing in the double pivot. Curtis Jones has left. Have they gone ahead to bring in anyone else? No. Forwards, Mohamed Salah has left, one of the biggest goal contributors for the side of Liverpool. They also want to move on a player known as Cody Gakpo, and they are looking to bring in Bakola. He hasn't gone ahead to arrive. You know, Ekitike, I think he'll come in through, towards the end of the year. Then you are having Alexandra Isak, injury prone in the recent season. In there for you, is he obviously going to be here? I doubt. So, Andoni Areola is in a very tough position, I must tell you. And a lot can happen in the end or in the remaining 11 to 12, 13 days. But it's looking scary. And if those players that are coming through, obviously, they won't obviously hit the ground running. You get? So, we are waiting to see how this will obviously pan out in this particular aspect of the game. So, as it stands, I'm putting Liverpool 6th. That is it. That is it. If they are competing in only one tournament, like the Premier League, I'm going to say, all right, it's okay. Their squad can obviously come and compete. But Liverpool is competing literally in 4 competitions. They are going to be playing the Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup. Now, we go to the 5th team. I'll go with a side called Tottenham Hotspur. That is it. I'll go with a side called Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Tottenham have been spoiled for choice between Chelsea, the 5th and 4th team, because when you look at Tottenham, they've gone ahead to make amazing business. And yesterday, the here we go of Savinho was announced. Now, that here we go being announced of this guy speaks volumes, because remember, they went ahead and obviously brought in 3 players as free agents. Senasi, Dubravka, and Robertson from Liverpool. Then they bought Van Heck and Sandro Tonali, Matas Fernandez. Now they've gone ahead to bring in Savinho. They are going in for Omar Marmosh. Now, if that team clicks, I tell you, it's really going to be one of the hardest teams to beat in the Premier League. Remember, every week he'll be playing one game. And I'm like, how is he obviously going to handle the game time and rotation of these players? Because if your team is winning and you're playing just one game a week, can you change it? It's very hard to change a winning team. But he's really a very huge threat. And what I've got to understand what Spurs is doing is like, let's overspend this summer transfer window. And after overspending, we get back to the Champions League. Obviously, the 5th spot gets them into the Champions League. And I know the coefficients of the Premier League teams is obviously going to be good in this coming season in here. And after all that, they'll qualify for the Champions League. And they won't bring in very many players, because if you've brought in Omar Marmosh, you've brought in Savinho, you've brought in Sandro Tonali, you've gone ahead to bring in Matas Fernandez, Dubravka, Robertson, Van Heck, Senasi, my dear, that will be a big summer spend. And I think if they qualify for the Champions League this season, 2027 summer, they won't obviously spend a lot of money. I tell you, they'll be like going in for only the important bit of players they need. Now, that is Spurs for you. And De Zerbi is a Premier League proven player. He knows everything. We get to the 4th team. The 4th team, I'm going to shock everybody. I'm going in for Man City. I'm going in for Man City. Because I understand they've gone ahead to change the manager. But I think, to me, City will finish 4th. Why 4th? First and foremost, the midfield is almost going to be new. With the players that Man City are still looking at, it sends you a message that Kovacic is not in the plans of the manager to start, or else to play throughout the season. And what he's doing, he's looking in for Bowadi and Enzo Fernandez and Manu Kone, meaning that 2 more midfielders are going to be dropped in that midfield. I've gone ahead to hear teams like Newcastle are in for Nicolas Gonzalez, who had obviously looked good in that midfield before Rodri returned last season. And that means his double pivot is literally going to be new. And with a constant in there being a player called Elliot Anderson, who never looked good when they're playing against a team known as Arsenal, but you just have to give him benefit of the doubt that he hasn't obviously gone ahead to do a lot of pre-seasons with them, and will obviously go ahead to obviously add up things and make ends meet. Then from there, they'll have to choose from either Enzo Fernandez or Ayub Bowadi, or Manu Kone. The two they will bring in through, they'll have to choose one to obviously partner with Elliott. Now, that is obviously going to take some time for them to really fix up. And if at all it won't take time and it hits up immediately or connects up immediately, they'll be so lucky. Mr. Enzo Maresca will be a lucky guy. So, he has lost Savinho. He's going to be losing Omar Mamosh. And who is he obviously going to be bringing in? I see his team also as thin, according to me. So that's why I'm like fourth. Will Erling Haaland bang in the goals? It's still a question. If chances arise, he'll obviously score those goals. That is it. Rodri has left. And you know how City has been suffering under Pep Guardiola, the best manager in club football in these days and era. He's out. He's out. And if the team has been suffering when Pep is there and Rodri is out, how will you look? How will your team look when they've gonna hit to obviously lose Pep and Rodri at the same time? I've already told people that when United lost Roy Keane and they had Sir Alex Ferguson, they suffered for some time. And then, when Sir Alex Ferguson left, since then United hasn't gone ahead to lift a trophy. You understand? Now, for City, they've lost their Roy Keane and Sir Alex Ferguson in the same season, and they are all gone. What will transpire thereafter? What will transpire thereafter? You understand? So, that is what we are having in here on what we call the Rokani Media Football. City, fourth. That is it. Third, I call in for Chelsea. Why have I gone ahead, obviously, calling for Chelsea? When you look at Frank Lampard, he has kept the spine of Chelsea's team. When you talk about the spine, he hasn't gone ahead to sell the movers and shakers of that team. I think the only one who has left that was really very important into that Chelsea team is Cucurella. But a left back can easily be fixed. He is fighting to see to it that he keeps even Enzo Fernandez in that midfield. Now, they still have Rich James. Levi Colville is there. They do have Fofana. They do have Caicedo, Romeo Lavia. They do have Carl Palmer. They've gone ahead to add on Morgan Rogers. They do still have Estavo. They have Yao Pedro as a forward. And there are some signings they've gone ahead to bring in through. You know? So, Danny Welbeck is there to bring in experience. Jordan Henderson also to bring in experience in there for you. So, Chelsea have gone ahead to obviously maintain the core of their squad. And I tell you, that's why I'm calling them to be third into this season, as I believe they will be playing one game. Alonso is good, a good manager. If the players don't pull out a mutiny on him, he'll obviously help them really reach somewhere. I tell you, he will help them reach somewhere eventually. That is Chelsea for you. Second, I go in for the club of Man United. Before United looked like they're going to bring in a third midfielder in Baleba, I was like, they'll finish third or fourth because the midfield is really very important. But when you look at Manchester United and what Carrick is trying to obviously orchestrate, it shows you that he's building something special. Carrick is building something special. And building something special calls in for that midfield to be really elite. Now, with Andre Santos, Tielemans, Kobe Mainoo, Adon Baleba, Ugarte, still injured, will come in through, Mason Mount, at least the manager will have a vast range of players to choose on when it comes to who plays in the double pivot. That is it. So, that's when I went ahead to say, yeah, I think United can obviously be second. The defense, I've seen people talk about it a lot, but in the right back, Dalo, Mazarawi, well covered up. Left back, Luke Shaw is there, and Patrick Dogu can do the job. Even Mazarawi or Dalo can play as a left back in there for you. Central defense, on the right side of the central defense, it's Matthias De Ligt. You are having Lenny Yoro and a player called Matthias De Ligt, who is coming from a back injury, meaning that he is going to have to get at least enough rest. Left back, it's obviously Lisandro Martinez, Aiden Heaven, and Luke Shaw. To me, that's really great. When it comes to the forward line, I think United has one of the best forward lines in the Premier League. You know, Bran Beumo, Shesko, Konya, Rashford is back. They do have Amadi Diallo. Ashia Lesi has obviously gone ahead to show some signs of really turning out to be better. They are trying to bring in a left back. You understand? So they are trying to do the needful, and that's why I'm like, second position for the club of Man United. Now, on top of the table, and my favorites to win the league this season is none other than Arsenal. Arsenal have not lost any of their players. That was a big pillar into their performance last season. You know, all the players that are leaving have not, I think they're like fringe players in there for you. So, with the addition of Konsa, obviously, the right back position, the right back problem had to be found a solution for. Then, they went ahead, obviously, getting Melie as another goalkeeper. And they've brought in Bruno Guimaraes. Oh my dear. Zolis, one of the players that has gonna hit to obviously hit the ground running immediately at the club of Arsenal. I tell you, they are gonna be the team to beat. And on top of that, Arsenal still wants to bring in Julian Alvarez or Victor Osimhen. Arsenal want to go out for an elite left forward in Yildiz. So, Mikel Arteta having huge experience in there for you, I really pick him to be the winner. Or I tip him to win the Premier League this season of 2026-2027 season starting today. Aston Villa, 7th. Now, players that obviously expect to obviously score 20 goals. I smell 20 goals from João Pedro from Chelsea. Erling Haaland will have a good tally. Now for Benjamin Sesko, yeah, I can give him as a forward. Then Isak, oh my God. I don't know whether he will be really well connected, but if he keeps fit and when he's available, I tell you, he will bang in those goals. Aston Villa, looks like Watkins is leaving. Tottenham Hotspur, who is that player that I think can come and obviously shine and really put in the goals at the back of the net? Solanke or Malmamosh? Solanke in there for you. Now, Bruno Fernandes, keep an eye on him when it comes to assists. And Martin Odegaard, I think this season they're obviously going to go head-to-head when it comes to creating chances, as Arsenal has gone ahead to bring in Bruno Guimaraes. That obviously helps Martin Odegaard to be so much close to the final third of the pitch. So, Bruno Fernandes, Carl Palmer, Martin Odegaard. Watch out onto those three players when it comes to creating assists. Obviously, goalkeepers, for me, the goalkeepers to watch are David Raya and St. Lamens for the club of Man United. That is it, because they will have the best in there for you. David Raya, obviously, I predict he was obviously going to be taking back the Golden Glove. Ever since he came in throughout Arsenal, no goalkeeper is going to hit, obviously, win the Golden Glove from him. So, if he has it, again, I do believe that Arsenal is going to hit to strengthen in the midfield and the defense, and they have all what it takes to win. They have all what it takes to make David Raya win the Golden Glove again. So, what else haven't I talked about in this video? Those are my Premier League predictions this season. And go into the comment section and tell me your thoughts about this. Rokani David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. And should I do my fantasy team also? Should I obviously do my fantasy team? Should I pick my fantasy team? I think I should obviously do fantasy here on this channel also. I should start fantasy in here for you. So I'm out. Bye bye. See you later.